This was our garage the day we bought the house a few months ago. And this is a post-apocalyptic wasteland from our renovation nightmare. A graveyard for half-finished projects, leftover materials, and tools so lost you'd be lucky to find one before dinner. The goal was to turn this mess into a proper workshop. This is how we did it on the lowest budget possible, without compromising quality. But before we could make the workshop dream a reality, we had to face the clutter. I'm talking nearly a year's worth of renovation leftovers dumped in the garage. Paint cans, wood offcuts, tools still in their boxes, and boxes inside other boxes. It was just a chaotic, demoralising mess. What you see here in seconds took many days and a lot of dedication. The vision was clear. A space to build our own quality furniture, tackle any house fix, and have a shared creative escape instead of endless Netflix marathon routines. This workshop is going to be more than just a place for projects. It's going to be part of our life together. But before we go any further, a bit of background. Yoris grew up in a farm town in Greece where DIY was, let's say, an advanced hobby. Every single house would have their very own small workshop in the cellar with all sorts of machines for all sorts of jobs. My family, on the other hand, were woodworkers, building furniture and clocks in Sheffield. I guess we both inherited the ethos of building our own things. After years of dreaming, we finally have a house with this garage, which was previously used as a music teaching studio, hence the carpets on the wall and the sockets everywhere. With the space kinda cleared, the first build could start. The absolute backbone of this workshop was going to be a full-length storage wall. Every YouTube video we watched seemed to tell the same story. Buy construction timber and plywood and spend all your budget on cute-looking shelves. It looks fantastic on camera, but when you price it up, you realise that you might be spending a lot of effort for something that is not versatile nor cheap. So, we made ourselves a rule. You don't need to build everything. Our solution? 3 heavy-duty aluminium shelving units for a mere £23 each. They are lightweight, incredibly strong, and have a much thinner profile than a timber build, which saves precious space for a similar cost and with less effort to assemble. This is how thin they are, this is how thick 2x3 construction timber is, and this is how they look next to each other. In under an hour, we had this full-length, floor-to-ceiling storage rack ready to go. Okay, without yet having organised the crates that you now see. That took days, but here is the final result. And shelves are only as good as your system. We specifically chose collapsible crates with holes in the sides. It means you can get a peek at what's inside without having to pull the whole thing down. And we can keep some extras folded for when we need them. We used the label maker and just went to town, creating a logical system, plumbing, electrical, decorating and so on. With this simple combo, we turned the wall into a library of supplies. With the crate wall in place, we turned around to the wall opposite the door. This is the first thing you see when you walk in, so we decided it needed to look slightly better than a stack of plastic boxes. Yoris always wanted those big fancy workshop cabinets, the kind you see on YouTube videos with planes and chisels everywhere. Oh, then again, we looked at the costs and time to build them and quietly closed the browser. Plus, you need to have a functioning workshop to do it. So instead, we went hunting in a less glamorous category, office surplus. Our biggest score, the one we're probably most proud of, is a 4-drawer filing cabinet we found on Facebook Marketplace for just £20. People give them away for nothing. These things are built like absolute tanks. Building a plywood cabinet with heavy-duty drawers would have cost 5 times as much and taken a whole weekend. The drawer runners alone would have cost more. This is a ready-made, perfect solution for us. Of course, he organised the drawers logically. The top one has the most used tools: drill, impact driver, multi-tool. The second is for all things sanding. The third holds cutting tools, and the bottom one, the heaviest, has the routers. The drawers pull all the way out. Can a simple plywood drawer do this? And just like that, all the mid-sized power tools are dust and fire protected and easy to access without balancing stacks of plastic power tool cases in a game of DIY Jenga. But the real stars of that wall are what he placed next to it, and a topic that is often understated: safety. 2 tall lockers we picked up for a tenner each from Marketplace again. 8 doors in total, like from a school movie. These will be the brain and heart of the workshop. He placed them next to each other and connected them together for more stability. These will provide good fire protection, or at least better than just leaving them in open shelves. First locker is for the nasty stuff locker. Top tier, aerosols. Second tier, flammable solvents like white spirit and methylated spirits. Third tier, pesticides. Remember, this is still a workshop for domestic use. Bottom tier, spill control rags. Right beside it is the nice locker. Top, PPE, goggles, masks, gloves. Second tier, glues and waxes. Third, now this needs to be an absolute must in every single workshop. A proper first aid kit for any potential accidents and a very important eye wash. If an accident is to happen, we can access it even by crawling. The bottom locker gets cleaning products because cleanliness is next to godliness. So within one glance, we know red is don't touch unless you know what you're doing. And green is touch immediately if you've done something stupid. One last detail. Right by the entrance sits the fire extinguisher. If something goes wrong in this tiny box of flammable dreams, we don't want to be running all the way inside to get it. It lives exactly where your hand goes just as you enter. It's the kind of decision future you is very grateful for. Now the workshop is fire protected and hopefully HSE compliant. Please let us know in the comments, did we miss anything? At this point, the walls are starting to look busy. But if you tilt your head up, there is a huge band of wasted space all around the top of the room. In a small workshop, that is unforgivable. You need to be thinking vertically. To maximise this space, he installed some old L-shaped brackets we had brought from the previous house, using some heavy-duty wall plugs and screws, and ran a long strip of MDF across the top of the locker wall. This will be the home for all long, awkward things that are usually propped up in a corner just waiting to fall as a barricade, like the gazebo, straight edges, long skinny bits of timber that aren't quite offcuts but aren't quite projects yet. It's something like the garage's equivalent of a loft. You don't go up there every day, but when you need that one weird thing, you know exactly where to look. Next, we needed a place for the tools we reach for constantly. A friend of yours had a workplace that was closing down, and they were throwing out 3 brand new bot hook panels. These things would have cost hundreds of pounds new. He asked if we wanted them, and of course we did. We'd be crazy to say no. And they have been moving house with us, waiting to be installed. He mounted the panels together at eye level, using long heavy-duty screws as they will be supporting a lot of weight. This will become the quick access wall. Saws lined up in a neat row, screwdrivers hanging where you can actually find the right size, long sash clamps hanging vertically, ready to grab for glue-ups, and a roll of paper on a bar to make you feel like you've got your life together. Seeing the tools up on the wall, all organised and ready for action, was a huge moment. The space was starting to feel less like utter chaos and more like a real functioning workshop. The projects we have planned for this space are pretty big, and we can't wait to see them start. If you want to see the furniture we're going to build and other projects we tackle here, maybe think about subscribing so you don't miss what's coming next. While power tools do the heavy lifting, the real graft often comes from hand tools. So for all the small, precise and easily lost items, we found yet another second-hand bargain. A tiny 15-tier metallic multi-drawer cabinet for £40, this time from eBay. It fits perfectly next to the workbench and will become the command centre for all the detail work. I mentioned the workbench. This workbench was given to us by my dad. Thank you, Dad! It is not perfect, but it is a starting point and we will adjust it to our needs in our next video. Okay, back to hand tools again. Again, the key here is logical grouping. The first few drawers offer measuring and marking. Tape measures, squares, marking knives. The next set is for cutting and shaping. This is to keep files, rasps and Yoris's most prized hand tools. Here he is opening his brand new set of British-made Henry Taylor chisels. He has wanted a set like this for years, and finally bringing them home felt like a little bit of a rite of passage. Moving down, we have drawers for screwdrivers and pliers, a drawer just for sharpening stones, a collection of odd drill bits, and one drawer simply labelled, "You will need this one day." That's the honest chaos zone for all the miscellaneous bits that you don't have a home for yet. We all have one, right? This little cabinet is a perfect example of our workshop's philosophy. Use vertical space, buy second-hand if it makes more financial sense, and make a system. So, for roughly £150 to £200 in actual storage spending, we have turned a slightly odd ex-music studio into a functioning workshop. Every hand tool, drill and chemical has a place. Nothing important lives on the floor anymore. But if you look down, the floor is still empty. No machinery for heavier jobs, just a very organised box with nowhere to cut timber wider than a handsaw can manage. And that is the problem we tackle next. Fitting a full machine shop into this tight space without spending a fortune on shiny new kit is a whole different puzzle, involving eBay, patience, and some questionable ideas involving kitchen trolleys. Subscribe so you don't miss the machine setup next week. Remember that if we can do it, you can do it. See you on the next one.